we got to talk about your raid and what happened with that.
Let's go for it.
Because I shared it when it first happened.
Yep.
And I was pretty frustrated to see it. But I guess we need the backstory.
I'll tell the whole thing.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Oh, man. Okay. So
you're a delinquent, degenerate street racer.
Yes.
Is how it starts.
Yeah. So, like, if you Google what happened, like, the article is like Kingpin, Street Racer, of Amarillo. And I'm like, what? So, what happened... What happened was
Toretto over here.
I know. So what happened was like a month before it happened, one of my buddies was like, "Hey, like a cop told me that you might get in trouble, but there's a couple of us like of a video." And I'm like, "Of a video of what?" And I was like, "Video of like us cruising around." And he's like, "Yeah." So I really didn't think anything of it. Mm-hmm. A couple weeks later, one of my clients called me. And that I used to train, I haven't trained in a while. And I took her daughter when I had my original Hellcat. This is like 2017, before like stock. And her daughter was like, "Can I get a ride?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So like back then, like the popular thing was like putting a kid like in the front seat and doing like a pull
in a fairly new car too. At that
literally
time.
Like brand new.
Yeah.
And she wore a seatbelt. Like literally, in the video, it's like me putting a seatbelt on. No big deal. Your mom told me like covered all my bases back then. And she was like, "Yeah, some officer's asking about, like, the video." And I'm like, "The video's, like, 6 years old or something. What are you talking about?" And she's like, "I didn't give any information." Like, whatever. So that freaked me out a little bit. So then when I wake up, normal day, I'm like, no big deal. Back out of my driveway. I'm like, "Man, there's a cop, like, 2 cars down. Like, this is so weird." Whatever. Didn't think anything of it. Go to the gas station, get a ghost, like I normally do. So get on the freeway. I get pulled over by the same cop. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So cop comes up. He's like, "Do you know of your warrant for an arrest?" And I'm like, first thing comes to mind, I was like, is this really over a video that's like 6 years old? And so I didn't know my house was getting raided. So my wife is home alone. No idea.
So those two things are happening at the same time.
Literally same time. So what happens is like I get pulled over. They get me out of the car. I was super cool. Like literally for a second I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I literally say, "Can you say that again?" He's like, "There's a warrant out for your arrest." So I like took a deep breath. I was like, "All right, what do you want me to do?" He's like, "You can get out of the car, get out of my car, no big deal." Put me in the back. Then I hear him like walkie, like, "Hey, he's in the back of a police car." And at that time, that's when they go in the house. I don't know.
And then you probably were putting together that there's
I literally had
quite a few people doing something else because he's talking to someone else.
Had no clue. So in my head, I'm like, is this really over like the video like of the girl? Like this is insane to me. Like she didn't give me any information. Even if she did, like statute of limitations is 2 years. So in my head, I'm like, the fuck is going on? So cops are real cool. I'm like, "Can you call my brother and just let him know like, hey, I'm in the back of a police car?" "Well, I don't think we can do that." I'm like, "Listen, I own a gym. Like, I've got clients. They're going to be freaking out. Can you just call?" So they call. My brother, like, is freaking out because obviously, like, a cop called. So either a cop is calling because someone's arrested or someone's dead, usually, right? Mm-hmm. So call him. At the same time, right as soon as I call my brother, cops show up to my gym to take my brother's cell phone and then one of my buddy's cell phone who was living with me at the time. That would had no clue what was going on. So I'm
somebody taking my cell phone though, that would not fly.
No. So
what an invasion of
it is. It is actually. You're not supposed to. They can take your phone, but they're not allowed to like get into it.
Such an invasion. So
I'm in the back of the cop car. I'm literally like half asleep because I'm like, am I asleep right now? So like my car's on a tow truck. I'm headed to Randall County Jail. Never been to jail before, so that was cool.
You get a bologna sandwich.
So I get there and I'm like, all right, take out your socks. So there was the only thing that saved my ass from not going into actual prison was I had $2,000 in my center console and I said, "Can you grab that? I don't want the tow truck driver stealing it."
That was his tip at that point. Yeah.
I know. So he grabbed it. He gave it to me, or whenever I checked into the prison, they said, "Hey, your bail is, I think, $1,500 or something. Do you want to use it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, get me the hell out of here." Don't have a phone. It's 2022. I don't remember anybody's phone number. My mom's, my brother's, and my wife's. That's it. Like, so I have an assistant. Don't know her, so I'm calling the gym. Well, no one's answering because there's cops there and everyone's freaking out. I have no clue what's going on. Finally get a hold of her. She comes, picks me up, and then she's like, your house is raided. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Never get my phone back. They took my phone without me even knowing. Because I'm like, hey, can I get my phone? And they're like, well, the cops took it. I'm like, okay. So then I go back to my house. My wife is freaking out. My house is like trashed. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like in the attic, they like ripped everything out. Like,
did they have a warrant?
They had a warrant, yes.
Okay.
But like on the warrant, it says they were searching for street racing like video stuff. I'll tell you the back end afterwards, but I figured I'd give you the story. So everyone's freaking out. Like, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Dave's like, yeah, they took my cell phone. Like, they were trying to like do a bunch of stuff at the gym, but they couldn't because they didn't have a gym warrant. They only had a warrant for the phones. And then, so go home. Everyone's freaking out. I go pick up my Jeep because I had to go. I mean, they towed it. So I go pick it up and then whatever. So at this point, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. That night on the TV, it's like my mugshot, and then it says like street racer arrested, like Kingpin. They're like saying all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, what? And so there was like, so what happened? So everyone knows the whole raid story. So it got raided, whatever. So I'll back up now.
I mean, I'll be honest. They were like, oh, we can really paint this guy. He's a young guy, owns this successful gym, big tattoos, nice cars. Like, we can really kind of paint like a picture here.
Because I have, and I've posted on my YouTube channel, like the cops go into my shop where like, at the time it was my Wreck Demon. It was a brand new Red Eye, and it was a Magnum that I was going to build. So I had those cars in there, and the cops were like, oh, these are some nice cars. Like, I literally have it on video, and I've posted it. And the most famous line, and which tells you exactly what they were looking for, is they go in the freezer in my shop, and they open it expecting it to find drugs. They said, it's just broccoli. Like, literally. There's
no bodies.
So it's like, so it's like a big joke now. And I was
Weren't they trying to cut the camera, too?
They cut 3 cameras at my house.
So they disabled the security cameras as well?
Yep.
Frustrating.
So then, like, I didn't know the house. I knew the house got raided, but I didn't see anything. So, like, me and Dave literally go to Verizon because we're like, we're never going to get our phones back. Buy a new phone. So I go, luckily, like, I download the app through Vivint, go through the camera. I'm like, oh, my God. So then that's when there's, like, the video I've posted several times. There's, like, 8 or 9 police officers. One of them's holding a sledgehammer. And I'm like, AKs and stuff. I'm like, bro, you were acting like I'm some...
I'll link his channel in the description, so if you want to go watch these in-depth videos, they're good watches.
But I'm like, are you, like, in my head, I was thinking, like, knock on the door. Like, I didn't know. And then after my wife told me, I'm like, what? So then I go through the video, and I'm like, holy, like as if they were going to break down the door. Like, my wife's by herself. I'm still traumatized. Like, I'll see a cop drive by the gym. I'm like, for a split second, I'm like, damn, are they, like, coming for me? So I'll back up now. So what actually...
Well, was it the DA that was spearheading this?
Yeah.
They were like, they kind of had an agenda
because they were told that... So just to give you guys an idea, my gym cost, I think, $11 to $13 million to build. Okay, just throwing that out there. You can't build a gym with cash. At least I can't. Like, I don't have that kind of money. Even if I did, you're an idiot if you build a...
Just invest all of your cash.
Right. So what you do is you get a loan from a bank, which I signed my life away several times. So what happened is there was someone, which I'm 99.9% sure who it is, and I'll tell you why, that was friends with a police officer that told them that the only way that I open my gym is because I sell drugs out of the gym. And I'm like, okay, if I was making that much money, don't you think I'd have a cash business? Why would I be taking people's credit card? You know what I mean? Like, that makes no sense.
That guy saw the wrong movies.
Yeah. So I'll back up all the way before. So there's a local gym in town. The owner is a female, and she calls her members like fat and out of shape and like all this stuff. And I've got screenshots of this happening from the people who used to go there. So I told one of the girls that I know, because they were all reaching out to her, asking if they could come to my gym. I said, hey, you know what? Tell them to come to my gym for a month for free. Like, They don't pay anything. If you like it, join. We'll get you signed up. No big deal. If you don't, no big deal. But at least like you don't have to worry about some lady calling you overweight and you're out of shape, and just because you don't look like a Gymshark model, like you can't fit in.
Doing the correct marketing to get clients, like a gym owner would.
So magically, a few months later, that's when everything started happening. The lady that called me that had the kid in my car went to that gym. And the only that video is so old, the only people that would know that video exists is the people that the gym that she went to, because of how old it is. Because they would only know that because of the daughter. You would only know that person because of that. So
she couldn't fathom that you were profitable enough to build this mega gym while she was yelling at her clients.
Pretty much. And like there's things that the husband of that gym does, like with the members there and stuff. Like, so it's this whole thing. I was just trying to be nice and be like, hey, if you guys want to come to my gym, that's great. It's no big deal. Yeah. So then that's literally what started the whole thing. It was just because somebody said that I was selling drugs. Now, obviously, because if they would have found something, I wouldn't be sitting here.
You were basically swatted.
To the 9th degree.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was kind of just a SWAT.
Yeah. It just sucks because like what they wanted to happen, this is never on record or anything, but like the warrant was just a way to get in my house. Like my lawyer was told that, the judge, I literally have talked to people who were doing the case. That's the only, it's not on any paper. You can't find it. But they do this all the time. It's not just like in Amarillo. It's everywhere. Like they just need a way to get into your house. And they're like, oh, see, we found whatever. So that's what they're hoping to find. Obviously, I don't even do drugs myself. I drink like twice a year, maybe. So like the whole thing, it was like insane. But what they really wanted to affect my business. And like the cool thing is, all my clients were like, we know you don't sell drugs. And like the street racing video, it was a joke. Like it was us going on a cruise, like barely even doing anything. And it was outside of city limits. It just happened to be in the same county. So the bad thing is like, I got arrested once, and this is how much they were trying to get me is like, I was arrested once. We were going to have a huge Easter egg hunt at my gym, which we get like 4,000 to 7,000 kids come to this thing. It's nuts. And we have a car show and a burnout contest, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, so the second time I was going to get arrested, a warrant magically comes up for my arrest again 2 days before. So what I was told is they were going to arrest me in front of all these people to make me look bad. Because again, at that point, they didn't know if they found anything at my house or whatever. So they were just trying to see if there was like anything on my phones, like this about drugs, or my computer. Like they literally took anything electronic. They took my Wi-Fi router. Yeah. Like, why did you take my Wi-Fi router? There's no information on it. But yeah,
took your Roomba.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, look, anything that had a plug, they took. So they were gonna arrest me. So I got that warrant taken care of, and then me and David, and then Misa, who's like my little cousin, he wraps all of our cars. We all go to Potter County because then another warrant comes up, and I'm like, is this gonna happen every weekend? So that was the last one. But I had to go to jail 3 times.
Well, and you've got lawyer bills stacking up too.
Nuts.
I mean, luckily you're successful, but doing that to somebody that's not.
Yeah, but like spending like, I mean, I spent 5 figures, like, because I had to replace every electronic.
It could completely ruin someone.
Yeah, it could. Luckily, like, I was in a position where, I mean, 25 or 30 grand, it sucks.
Yeah, of course.
It absolutely sucks, but like, I got it done. Like, that money was going to go towards other things, but
I'm sure I was just more saying like that could have just really like what those cops did and what that DA did could have really ruined someone's life over nothing.
Over nothing, yeah. So luckily, like, I'm not the greatest person, but I have a pretty good like face in Amarillo. Like, people know me that I always do, like, we always hold events, and we're always doing like fundraisers and stuff for local community stuff. So like, I'm always doing stuff. So like, people know that like, this is BS. It just sucked because like someone was like trying to ruin me. And like you always, I even said this in a video, you always hear about people like, you got to watch out because people are going to try and like ruin you. I'm like, I mean, what? That is a real thing. People get jealous because of you're doing something. I'm like, what people don't understand, there's so much money to be made. Like, there is plenty. It's not like you could literally have the same business next to each other. People are going to like what they like. It's crazy to me. I wish people would understand, like, you could work together and make more money, or you could do this thing where you're going to like fight against each other and do this lame shit of just trying to like be better than the other when there's so much money out there. You can have your clientele. I can have mine. Like, you can have your shop. I can, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff. So it was wild. Like, it's one of those things that like you hear about and you're like, that'll never happen to me. Yeah, it definitely did. So then I had a bunch of YouTubers like, which I've watched forever, like I'm talking millions of subscribers, like, hey, are like, am I going to be next? Because then a couple months later, Texas came out that law, like, which you got to be careful. Like now, like in Texas, if you post anything street racing, like the takeover stuff, it's 2 years. And like, they'll just wait and then they'll go get you. Like they made a new rule.
And you put it out there, so
and if it's on the internet, it doesn't even matter if you're the one doing it. If you're there, they'll get you in trouble now. So I'm like,
have they busted a lot of people that you know of? Like,
there's a few people that have actually, not like big YouTubers or anything, but like
just people in general.
People. Yeah, there was a big, I think in Dallas, they arrested like 60 people a little while ago at a takeover, which takeovers are whack, but yeah, if you're even there, like they don't mess around. So like, luckily, like all my videos were super old. They only had, I think, one video of me racing a CTS-V. It was me and my buddy on the highway, and like it was racing on the highway and reckless driving. Like it wasn't anything crazy.
It's a ticketable offense.
Nothing like that they would come raid your house with. So that's what was lame about it. I was like, you guys made it seem like you're doing all these things, and then like I bet you they spent
your registration was expired, so you know
raid your house. Yeah, but like I bet you they spent 125 grand just on my raid alone. Because what I didn't realize, my wife told me later, is there was a drone in front of my gym, like those big drones in front of my gym, because she was doing cardio, and she thought we were doing like a video for the gym.
Yeah,
and I'm all, not at 5:30 in the morning. No, we're not.
Tax dollars are at work.
But you know, like you don't think about that stuff. Like, so what's even funnier now is, so like, you know, it happened, whatever, I'm over it. There's a few cops that go to my gym. One of them, the guy is holding the sledgehammer. Like, so, and he's super cool, but like even he wasn't sure like how I would be. And I'm like, bro, you were doing your job. It's the people up top who said, yeah, let's go raid this guy's house, because we didn't track him or anything. Like, if you would have followed me for a week, I literally go to the gym at 5 a.m. I come home at 8 p.m., like Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm boring as hell, I promise. Like,
it's the perfect cover, having a massive, successful gym.
Yeah.
That's the perfect cover to sell drugs.
Yeah, I'm not like in Colombia, like, oh yeah, let's go like ship this over. I'm like, no, dude, I'm at the gym like training people every day.
Yeah. It's like, oh, he has nice cars. Well, yeah, he also has a 37,000 square foot gym. So
it's wild, bro. It's wild. So it was just, I don't know. It's one of those things that'll always like be talked about, and it'll always just be like mind blowing to me.
Well, it's scary too, because I mean, we all see videos of how bad the trigger discipline is on some officers when like a noise, you know, a door slams, or I don't know if you got a dog, but like,
well, we do. Yeah, I agree.
A freaking dog barks, and all of a sudden.
Well, and that's what I was worried about. Like, my wife is home alone, like with my dog. She like was hearing this banging. She was in the shower, so she came out in like a towel, and she sees 9 guys, and they're like pointing at her, like as if she's like some drug dealer. And like, bro, what? Like,
did you see that Eggcorn video?
Yeah,
the cop, like something like that. Like an Eggcorn fell, and he put just 2 full magazines into his own vehicle.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's wild. Some of that stuff, it's really out of control. And like, you always hear about like police brutality, like all that crazy stuff. That'll never happen to me. And I'm like, no, that is real, dude. Like, that's real. So that'll just be one thing that I never wish. I literally would never, not even my worst enemy, not even the person who made up the story about me, I would never wish it on them, because it's like, it's damaging forever.
How do you push back though? Because like, okay, now they were wrong, all this, like, do you have any legal recourse to push back and be like, hey guys, you know, I have all these lawyer fees, like, can you sue the county? Can you sue the DA?
I talked to, so.
Is it worth it?
So like for example, so I could have fought my like reckless driving and my racing on the freeway. I decided, because I couldn't make any social media or YouTube because I was freaked out. I was like, whatever I say, even if it has nothing to do with anything, they're going to use it against me. So it was either A, just say, yeah, I don't care. Let me just pay the ticket. I'll be on probation for a year, whatever. Or you could fight it. But with me, what I was told, all they're going to do is they're going to push it back year after year after year after year. And then they'll decide, it's okay. Like, and then they'll just get rid of it. Mm-hmm. Like my buddy Misa, who was arrested, because there was like 8 of us who got arrested. So he got arrested for one of the videos that he was in. It was the Viper versus the Civic. And, but he fought his and he won. But I'm like, but they don't want you. Like with me, they wanted me. So like even David, like I told him, I'm like, just pay the fine. Yeah. Serve your 6 months and it's over. And I've thought about like calling them out, like, but I'm like,
serve 6 months probation.
Yeah. But I'm like, is that gonna do anything for me? Like in reality, like, so I decided to just take the higher road and be like, screw it. Like everybody in town, like Amarillo is a small, big town. Everybody in town knows who it is. Mm-hmm. Everybody in town knows what happened. Karma is a bitch. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I could have like went after them and done all these things, but I'm like, if I'm going to have a business in Amarillo, do I really like want to go down that route? If it was just me as a normal person, I probably would have done it. But me being like on YouTube and me like having a business, at least one, if not several, but I don't want that to come back on me and be like, no, we have to like get him now. And then just watch everything that I do. So like I could have done stuff like that. I just decided not to. I was like, I'm so over this. Like I just want it to be done.
I just feel like everybody would agree if you were going after the DA or whoever and okayed that.
And trust me, like I went back and forth with my lawyer about it.
Thought about it.
Yeah, I went back and forth on it, and she was honest, and she's like, you can do it. You just have to remember, like, if you do it, you're going to live in Amarillo for how long? And you're going to have to be dealing with this for... Yeah. Because they're like, I could have won my cases, and then what? I literally have to watch everything I do. Everything I put, like, because they're going to just be waiting for me, and I'll screw up once, and then it's just like... back to square one again.
So frustrating. It
sucks.
So corrupt.
It's catch-22. It's like, what do you do? So, yeah, because people are like, you should have fought. I'm like, dude, if I was a normal person, it would have never happened if I was a normal person. It's because I own a business and I'm on YouTube and I'm on social media. Like, and I'm not even a huge person, but like in Amarillo, like I'm huge, but like, so it's crazy that that's what the world we live in is. You can just say something about somebody and then next thing you know, like, but it's like the girls who like, they'll go and be like, this guy did whatever and nothing even happened. I'm like, you can't do that. You are ruining that dude's life because, you know, if he's a professional athlete or an actor and then it takes 2 years, but he's not guilty, but everybody already has the public opinion, right? Yep. And then to me, at the end of the day, that's what matters is the public opinion. Like whatever happens in the courtroom, right? But public opinion is a huge thing. Like, whether you're right or wrong, like the public is going to dictate if you're right or wrong.
Yeah, I growing up in high school, one of my like assistant teachers there, he was on that Duke lacrosse team, which was one of the early cases of all that. Yeah, and I think that all came out to be not true, but his reputation was always that, and he was like the lead scorer, so he was like the guy, but his reputation was always damaged. Yeah, and unfortunately, he was a lacrosse. Being the world's best lacrosse player in college doesn't really get you anywhere in professional sports.
But still, it's that public opinion.
It was unfortunate for him. I mean, he was kind of a dick anyways, but...
Yeah, but
it sucked. I felt bad for him because that's the worst case scenario.
Dude, it sucks, bro. Like, that's why I tell people, I'm like, be careful what you post. Be careful what you text people because, like, you can always, like, misconstrue stuff. Like, just be careful. Like... You got to be, especially like if you have any following, even if it's just a little YouTube channel or whatever, if you have, especially if you have a big one, like you got to be careful what you post, be careful what you say, because some people are going to be like, take it the wrong way.
Yeah, or you got to have really thick skin.
Yeah.
Because I say some things that are crazy, nothing that's like, you know, nothing that's like damaging like that, no like sexual assault type of stuff. Yeah. But like, otherwise it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you know, I agree though. Like, I mean, I've been training clients for like years, and like we'll joke around and stuff, but like, you'd never want to put that. Like, people would be like, "Oh my god," like, and lose their minds. I'm like, bro, like, you don't know the relationship that you have with people. Like, you can talk to people a certain way, right? Like,
Well, even you saying stuff about like we talking about Trump earlier, like that.
People freak out.
People freak out about that on social media.
Yeah.
It's like it's insane. I don't even understand that part of it. Like you could be a bad guy for just saying that.
Yeah.
It's so hard to walk around on eggshells. And you were even talking about other YouTubers messaging you worried about themselves. And people like Kyle1320 have been posting street racing forever.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when I see people post in Texas, like, one of the newer, like, up-and-comers, his name's, like, Boosted Lucky. He's, like, super good. Does a great job with his YouTube channel and stuff, but he'll post street racing stuff. I'm like, bro, you're like, bigger than me. Like, you got to be careful with what you post. Like, and I don't like it's your channel. You can do whatever you want. I'm just talking like I guess like an old head now, but like because I've been on YouTube forever. But
experience.
Yeah, you gotta be like But it's the same thing with like 1320. I'm like, man, if someone really didn't like you, it would not take much. That's the bad thing is like you can have a lot of people who like you, but it just takes one person who doesn't like you, and they can just turn you in. Like,
and thankfully, 1320 they do blur out the people they're filming.
They do.
Whereas other channels they don't blur out anyone.
No.
If they're doing street stuff, they will blur out the other party, which is nice.
Yeah, and that's what it's hard, like because the problem is like that's the thing that the new rule in Texas, like say me and you are street racing, right? And I'm videoing and you're videoing, we both blur it out. No big deal. But what about the idiot down the street who doesn't blur it out? Then we posted it, but if he that's what people are gonna get in trouble is because everyone's got their phones out now. So like no one's blurring it out on their phone. Like if me and you do it because it's on YouTube or whatever, they're like, well, you guys blurred it out, but we saw from this guy's video, so we're connecting you two to that race. And it's like, so that's where like in Texas, you just got to be careful. Like you can post whatever you want. I don't care. I mean, it's just me talking out loud. Because trust me, I love street racing too, but it's not worth going to jail and losing.
It does become an odd thing, though, when you think about profiting very heavily off of something that's illegal.
I know, yeah.
Because, like, it is odd.
It's super odd.
It's not, like, far off from selling drugs, where you're profiting very heavily off of, granted, it's a victimless crime until it's not street racing. Yeah. Because nobody gets hurt until somebody does.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what was that, 3 years ago at 2K on the street races? That guy killed somebody.
Yeah. It happens. I mean, people kill themselves, or unfortunately, somebody that's an innocent bystander on their way to work at 2 a.m. when people are street racing,
just getting T-boned,
and it happens, and it's super sad, and that's why I try to. I mean, I haven't freaking gone over like 100 on the street in a long time. Yeah, I've been pretty much track focused for the last 5 years.
Yeah, but that's why, like me and my brother, I'm not a huge fan of roll racing at the track. It's okay.
Even roll racers aren't.
But like that's why we want to at least try to help get kids off the street. Like, is it the same? No, but at least you can go and like pretend instead of like doing it on the street. Because literally, like I got arrested 2 weeks later, which it just makes it. Luckily, like nothing else happened. But 2 weeks later, 2 kids. Well, actually, one guy and his whole family was in a Hellcat Durango. One guy in a, I think, Mustang were racing each other. The guy in the Durango killed his whole family in Amarillo. And I'm like, oh my God, I just got arrested for me being the Dominic Toretto of Amarillo. And I'm like, they're going to think like this is all my fault. Like as if I'm promoting street racing.
Well, there was a really popular case in Tampa as well a couple years ago where it was two, like, they were like 16, 17 years old in Mustangs, street racing in like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on
like in full-blown traffic, right?
No, it was on like Bayshore Drive, which is this nice like water drive where people are walking and like it's like kind of curvy and like it's not like a road anybody with like half a brain would street race on. Yeah. And one of the kids killed a mother and her baby in a stroller. He was 16 years old. Oh my God. He's still in jail. I mean,
he's probably for what, life, I guess?
I don't know what he ended up getting, but like that's not street racing. No. That's like anybody like intelligent enough would know that that's not the same street racing as, 2 a.m. on the bridge when no one's around and no families are in the car with you. Yeah. There's different that like a time and a place. You have to be smart about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that kid deserves everything that he gets. Like, that was completely wrong, and he needs to be made an example of. But it's so different than...
Oh, yeah. But I even, like, when I got arrested, I said, if I did something illegal and I hurt somebody, take my ass to jail. Like, my dad was killed when I was little because some dude fell asleep at the wheel. Like, take me to jail if I do something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. You guys are just trying to make up a case. Like, if I killed somebody and I was street racing and being an idiot, yeah, I deserve to go sit in prison for the rest of my life. So that's what people don't understand. If you want to street race, go do it. Like, if you're going to do it, be smart about it. Go like at midnight or whatever on a freeway when there's no one around, or a back road when there's no one around. And the only two people who are going to get injured is going to be you two. Like, don't
bring a crowd.
No.
You don't need 50 other cars to watch it. It like you got to be smart. I try not to promote it as much as I once kind of did when I used to do it. I since I became, I guess, more known.
Right.
I hate to like kind of talk like that, but since I became more known, I try not to do that kind of stuff as much. And I kind of cringe when I see people that are even more known than me kind of do like reckless things. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, you know, a lot of people are watching that.
Because the bad thing is people are going to
cheering it on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was so cool that you just went 180 in traffic. Like, I
agree.
Cool.
I'm like, dude, and I don't know, like maybe just me getting older, but I'm like, but even when I was younger, I would never ever race like midday in traffic. Like, no, what? You're going to do that? Do it like late. Like,
and I never had anything fast until recently.
That's what I was saying. Like,
but now people that are 16 with a Ford GT, like a new Mustang GT, like that's just way faster than anything I had when I was 16 to 20.
Dude, I had a Hyundai Elantra forever. Like, like I don't know, 160 horsepower. I was
you weren't street racing.
No, I'm like, dude, what am I gonna do with this thing? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, oh my god,
it's tough, and that's the whole. That was the other part of the debate on that Bayshore thing. Was like, well, why did his parents buy him like a Mustang like that? You know, it's like. It's a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean,
like, should your first car be 500 horsepower? Mustang.
Yeah, I guess the same. I don't know if you can afford it. I guess
if you can,
you know, like
even like an SUV, that's even scarier. Like a 700 horsepower SUV.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can go buy a Trackhawk. Like, what's different?
Well, that's scarier because it's heavy.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you hit something.
You're putting 5,000 pounds into somebody. Yeah.
And we in Florida, we have bridges that are well known.
Yeah.
Because they're concrete.
Oh, no way.
And the cops can't sit on the bridge to wait.
Oh, no way.
They can only be on the other side of the bridge waiting for you, or when you get on the bridge. So as long as you get your speed down by the time you're on the other side of the bridge, you're fine. And you can see the end of the bridge.
That's hilarious.
So you know it's clear.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt anyone.
That's amazing.
If something happens, you're going in the water by yourself.
That's wild.
So we're well known for our bridges. There's like a loop of like 4 of them.
No way.
That's
cool.
Cruise. And I used to live right by them. It was right by the Air Force Base in South Tampa. So
that's cool.
All the Air Force guys loved it.
Oh, yeah, I would too. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's great. Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.